Hey, the bar is open today on Carnival of Randomness, only on Get Mad Radio. And we have our house drummer, Greg, here.
Hi.
Eventually, we have our house drummer, Greg. He's got his little toy,
I had to get my little toy.
You know,
I've been having some trouble with my neck, so I have to straighten it out, so excuse me. Oh, okay, thank you. There we go.
It sounded like it hurt.
Okay, there.
We're very thrilled to have my good friend, Luke, my coworker, my pal, he drove all the way from Westchester to be here.
Happy to be here.
Wow.
You sounded.
You made it on time, too.
We're going to actually talk. This is going to be a little trip down memory lane. There was a special time, a little splinter in time, where we worked at a bar. And we're going to tell some bar stories about what it's like to work at bars. And names will remain anonymous because, well, you'll find out.
And I'm sure there's some trips down memory lane also.
Oh.
And you actually brought a good point up about, we're sitting here, okay, you're in school or whatever. Nobody goes, okay, be all you can be. You're going to work at a bar or a restaurant. And how did we get to this point?
Yeah, like you're a musician, so I imagine that you grow up as a kid and you idolize Ozzy and all these other guys, and you're like, I definitely want to be a rock star. I don't ever remember being like, I need to be a bartender.
Right.
That guy that I looked up to was a bartender. I'm sure the Tom Cruise movie, what was that called?
Cocktail.
I'm sure Cocktail may have inspired some people.
I've never seen that movie.
Okay, that's weird. But yeah, no, it's weird.
Well, I think there's the whole Hollywood thing of all movie stars and aspiring actors being bartenders or waiters and waitresses. And
that's a good point. And see, for us, it was like I fell into it. Right?
I fell into it.
Yeah, like I needed some money for college to pay for very expensive textbooks, and someone said, "You ever been a bar back?" I had no idea what that was. I'd gone to bars, didn't know what a bar back was, and someone just said, "Hey, I got a gig for you. You might make $100 a night." And I was like, $100 cash.
You're the guy that does all the work.
That's yeah. You do all the work, and we tip you out like 13%. And I went, "Hey, $100 is $100. That's awesome."
Okay, this is interesting too because about bar backing for doing it, I had no idea what the term meant. But then what do I hear from some of our bartenders? The first thing is, okay, here's how you do it. Just elbow them out of the way.
Yeah, no, you were a lackey. Yeah, like don't mind the bartenders, and the owners are telling you got to get this done. If they're in the way, push them out of the way. You know, you're going to end up being in the way, filling the beers, and it's a very uncomfortable place. And then because these are the people that could tip you out a little more if they liked you.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to make them angry.
It was sort of like a scene from like the Wanderers with the Baldies enlisting the Marines and don't even know.
So I know the bar back thing where you get the glasses and you do all that kind of stuff. So what else do you have to do? Stock the beer cases?
Stock the beer cases. You clear the, sometimes on a really busy night, if it was ladies' night, everyone had rocks glasses. Everyone had mixed drinks.
Right.
You run out of glasses in the back.
Right.
Because you can only clean them so fast. So you'd have to leave behind the bar and you'd have to go around and collect the actual glasses, so you got your hands filled, people are bumping into you. It's a war zone out there too, and everyone knows that you were behind the bar, so they actually stop you and say, "Hey, my girlfriend needs a refill. I need a bit of beer," and they start yelling out, "Oh, my last name is this. It's a tab. Put it on a tab." And I go, "I'm not even allowed to pour a beer here."
Yeah, I've done that a couple times at gigs. Oh no, I'm just a bar back.
Yeah. I'm just the drummer. You know what I always heard? Maybe you can verify this. And we're going to keep bar names and people's names out of this because but it was a very fantastic time and fantastic era in our time. But I always heard the biggest seller was the raspberry framboise from the test. That was the myth.
I mean, when you mixed it with Guinness, I think it was called a chocolate-covered strawberry or something like that.
I've always heard that was the number one seller.
It was good stuff.
But that's what I always heard, and I don't know if it's true or not. The thing I hated about mentioning that one, was one of the barback duties, and I did door and cleaned a lot more than barback, but I was like a jack of all trades. Now I'm just a jack off of all trades doing the show. Basically. But the thing was, like, whenever you would have, like, a change at keg, the framboise would blow up on me.
You ended up a sticky mess. I don't know if you ever changed a keg?
I worked at a restaurant. I did not like, that was my least favorite thing to do. Finally got the hang of it.
Beer showers.
But I'll tell you another thing. From working at a restaurant, the couple years I was there, the glass things, right? because this was Galveston's. I don't know if you remember. It was a Tex-Mex place.
It was on Ridge. I remember, when I was
and they had those big, giant 32-ounce mugs, right?
Yep.
Big, thick things. So anyway, you had the plastic thing with the glasses, right? And you're stacking and moving. Mm-hmm. My arms looked so good after about 6 months of that. Yeah, no kidding, man. But no, tapping a keg or changing a keg.
The worst in terms of restaurants, and that'll be another episode.
And they're still heavy when they're empty.
The grease pits at restaurants were the worst. Those are like the worst. You don't want to be cleaning the grease pits.
Oh, yeah, I did that too.
Greasy floors, I don't miss that either.
No, I mean, I used to have to mop the thing, so I know. But no, people don't get it. I always say,
like, your friend.
I always say there's a skill to everything. How did you morph into a bartender there?
I had personality, so, when a drunk person asks you for the 10th time within an hour, hey, buddy, I need a beer, and you're like, how many times do I have to tell you? I would say you just kind of come up with just funny things to keep yourself entertained. Okay, I'll be right back, and I would just continue doing what I'm doing. The bartenders would go, that's actually kind of funny. Or, I would notice that someone didn't have a drink, and I would go, hey, so-and-so, that couple over there's been kind of waiting. Oh, I didn't even notice them. I thought that they were just talking. And, kind of becoming attentive to people.
Right.
And also, shout out to people that musicians that would come into the bar and either DJ or sing or whatever, because they kept our places packed. So props to you for doing restaurants.
But do you remember, this may have been, you're a bit of a young'un. You're
a little young'un, yeah.
A little young'un. I mean, I just turned 30 a couple weeks ago.
Ah, yes.
Shut up, it's my show. So it's but one of the things we had, and I think it was before your time, we had Austin Powers parties. And I have pictures. I'll show them. I'll text them to you. I still have some pictures of them. Mm-hmm. And what was funny is I posted some on Facebook, and I would hear friends, hey, that's me passed out over there. That's me. And the thing was, we had the Quitters play, and we had another band play. And I remember it was jammed.
Yeah.
Absolutely jammed. But this had to be 2002, because I showed up there about 2000, 2001. Mm-hmm. You were a little later.
Well, I mean, I turned 21 around the 2000s. So, I mean, I've been going to places that had live music earlier because they all weren't 21 plus. So
I'm trying to remember now.
Good music scene around.
You got me about this, though.
Right?
How often? Because we had a fundraiser there. My friend Beth, who was on here for the Eclipse, we used to do movies. And we broke a camera, so they were gracious enough. And I will say, I was treated very well in general. They let us use the bar on a Sunday to have a fundraiser for the camera. Mm-hmm. And we brought, like, a musician in there. But I can't remember, we didn't always have music there.
No.
We had more at the other place down the road. That was more of a
place. I mean, when I say, musicians kept my place packed, I mean, I've bartended quite a few places around here, and a lot of the places did have live music, and man, those places were and that's kind of how I ended up being a bartender, was that, place gets so packed, and then, there's two bartenders on, they might need a third, or, if someone says, hey, I got to take a phone call really quick, or someone cuts their finger on a piece of glass, and, now there's one bartender, and I go, well, I can pick up the slack if you want. And they go, fine, just jump behind the bar.
I would just do that, and nobody said a thing.
Well, I mean, there's certain rules and hierarchy. It's kind of tough when you've been there for 5 years, and then all of a sudden, it's the busy night, and the new guy who's just become a bar back is slinging drinks and expected, to get some of those tips. So, you kind of play by the rules. You don't want to bite the hand that feeds you.
They always call,
because people tip you out at the end, and hey, listen, if I'm picking up the slack,
one thing about being a musician and going to bars and being in them, so like even last night I had to play, but I always try. I see what the people that work there go through, and like we're there late, they're there late, then they got to clean the place, and while you're packing up, you're watching them, all the glamour part's gone, but. And I always try to, like, when people start yelling at and waving money at them and all that, like, I want to go, dude, they hate that. Stop doing that.
Yeah. I can ask you, too, then, the part about playing also, I think part of your job is you're going to have people who are the regulars who come in. But I think when you play, what they're expecting is they want more people.
Yeah.
And that you bring people in.
Yeah, so you're following your fans. You know, you get your bar regulars, and now you get the music fans, so you get twice as much packed into.
Then if you play bad, they'll drink more. So it'll be
win-win.
Yes, but I always used to do. The prankster. That what I would do is we'd have like they'd have like the thing where you put all the tip money. Yeah. A lot of times, I would always put like, okay, take the Knicks minus 5 points, leaving a tip. And I finally got the Rob. I would get these letters from the bartenders writing, will you stop doing that? Now, when you started working, what were some of your impressions like that? Did you have like a notion of what it was like bartending?
No.
And how did you just sort of feel the way when you were doing it? And what did something come out and really surprise you?
Everything surprised me. Like the fact that people would come in and say, you know, I want this kind of drink, and I'd go, all right, and I would turn around, and this is kind of like the turn of when cell phones were getting very popular, and so you know, iPhone 2 was out, or maybe like the iPhone Touch, and I would look up a drink name, and it would not be in the search results, and I'd go, I'm sorry, I don't know how to make that. You go, oh, well, I'm here from Florida, and it's my drink down there, and I taught the bartender, so I'll teach you, and I'm like, people do that? People come in and just demand, and now what I see online is people hand a drink card that will say Mike's Martini, and it's like 5 weird ingredients, and then you know people now are posting them online, going, "Oh, I got one," and you know that's kind of shocking. How mean people can be is kind of shocking. You know, you see people come in with their wives, and then the next day they come in with their girlfriends, and you go, "Hey, you were just here yesterday," and they're like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." Get in the eyes and say, "I don't know what you're talking about," and I go, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I must be mistaken because." You know, your tip is at stake. So the last thing you want to do is to have this bolden man, or embrazened, I don't know the word, but this guy who's bringing in another person the night after to tell you, like, I don't know who you are.
You know,
you're right. I don't know who you are.
You know what?
Please tip me, sir.
I'm looking up at the bar light up there, and I see $20. I don't remember you at all, it says.
No, I don't have a clue.
But that goes against what a lot of people go to bars. They want to show, I'm going to show them I know the bartender, and I know everybody here. And then all of a sudden he brings in another girl, right? And
that does go against it. Yes, yeah, it's like, sir, you know, you were here with, you know, you drank whatever Modelo's all night, and he's like, I do drink Modelo's, but how did you know that? And you're right. How did I know that?
Oh,
Never mind.
I had a thing with a friend. What we would do is like, because there was some, you know, and I never asked for it, but I was pretty well known around there. But I would have some bartenders at other places. You know, went on the house, and I would always give a big tip. I never asked for it. But what we used to do is call it Fight Club. Like, if somebody did that, you don't talk about that they do it.
Yes.
But that's the other thing, and we've talked about this so many
times. Being a priest.
You want to annoy us? One of the big things to annoy us is how many times, especially when I did the door, well, I know the owner.
Yeah.
So do I. He pays my salary. You know?
One of the best, though, is somebody's complaining. I won't let her in because she doesn't have an idea. Well, I know the owner. Oh, he's right next to me.
So that means she should get in trouble?
Right. You know? So the bar will get shut down for you because you don't have your ID on.
That's right.
But you swear you're 21. But then you know they're not 21 because they walk up and they go, oh, I don't have my ID, but I'll have a Long Island. I go, nobody who's of age drinks a Long Island.
Right.
So you're either 18 and under or you're like 35 and you've had a terrible week.
What's the one? There's so
those things kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Guys just want to they just want to forget that day.
There's something, because one of my, I shouldn't say friend, buying this for me, it wasn't around there, it was actually down by Culver. It's like a California name. It's like it was like a West Coast version of it.
Oh, there's a lot of
yeah. But it was horrifying too. But it was sweeter. So
was it blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like Good Night Mother effers.
It was like
they have,
horrifying.
Yeah. I mean, you could, instead of putting the iced tea, you know, the mix with the soda, you can do blue curacao instead, or you do cranberry. Oh, there's a whole bunch. There's the Long Island, or there's the Long Beach iced tea.
That was it.
Long
Beach?
Was the one.
Yeah. And then what she do after I knew she did it on purpose because she goes, hey, you want to play pool for a couple dollars after she gives me a couple of these?
Yeah.
Like, well, if I can find the table.
Yeah.
But I always wonder, I love history and stuff, so I took like a deep dive into that. Who the heck, I'm figuring like a frat house was goofing around. Who the heck came up with this? Because if you really do it right, it tastes like iced tea.
If you do it right, yeah.
If you do it right. I've had very few.
Have you seen the comedy special where the guy talks about a flaming Dr. Pepper? I forget the guy's name, but he talks about, like, who's the mad scientist that sat there with different beers, different liqueurs, and different shots, lit them all on fire, and was like, no, that's not Dr. Peppery enough. You know, like, that's insane. Like, the way some of these drinks came to be is just...
I've had a Dr. Pepper, not a flaming one, but those are really good.
It tastes like Dr. Pepper?
Yeah.
Right? Like
that's the name.
It's weird. And you learn a lot as a bartender because people will come up to you and they'll say, oh, I want a bear fight. And I go, what is a bear fight? And they're like, well, it's like a car bomb, but worse. And I'm like, at the time, I'm like, what's a car bomb? And they're like, oh, boy.
Well, I know all about those.
So, yeah, it's like a bear fight is like a car bomb on steroids. You take like the Jaeger and...
bear fight.
It's a car bomb, but also a Red Bull and vodka, and you kind of drop them all in simultaneously. So it's like 2 drinks in one, and you slam them, and apparently they fight in your stomach, and that's the best.
Oh, my God.
So when you were saying, what things have you learned? I've learned a lot of interesting drinks. I've learned a lot about people. You really read people. Like a guy will come in, and you just look at his eyes, and you're like, this guy is not having a good day, and he does not want a small talk. And you can tell when people want a small talk.
Yeah.
You know?
I always say that, too, that really, if you want to learn the human condition, and I'm sure you probably get a lot of it from gigs, work at a bar, especially like do doors, do everything. But one thing I was going back a little about, you said about the Dr. Pepper Long Island's. Now, I didn't, thank goodness I did this, but one of the things some friends of mine used to do when we were like in high school would do whippets. And there was and there was like a Wegmans, I won't even say which one, but I guess they were finding... like for the whipped cream things, blood on them because people were doing. Who in the heck thinks of I'm going to take a whipped cream thing and get whacked on it?
Crazy stuff gets rumored around, and some kid has a weird experience.
Well, there's a comedian who said, like, if we outlawed drugs, you still get the people who spun around to make themselves dizzy. You know, and I think maybe that's true.
That people will find a way. And
I wanted to, I considered this episode a little bit, referring to it in my head as the good, the bad, and the goofy. Yes. And you see everything. And, like, one of the things we've always had to deal with a lot of weirdos.
Yeah.
And if you, like, are there any that kind of, like, because a lot of them follow the same kind of pattern, the creepers and stuff. But one I want to go back to first, and we don't name names, but there was one, we were talking about the endearing weirdos before the bad ones. And these are the ones that, you brought somebody up, mentioning it, the place you go to, where the guy was, like, a pain in the butt, but when they booted him, you kind of missed him.
Like, it's... I don't know. Like, there's a guy the regulars that come in that are kind of annoying, there's still something endearing about them where it kind of leaves a little hole because, all the regulars know them. They talk about them. And when they're not around, it's like, hey, where'd that guy go? Hey, where'd that weird lady go? Like, oh, we booted her. She did something absolutely just...
Can I start a band called The Endearing Weirdos? That'd be a great...
There you go. Incredible Randomness presents our first offshoot band, The Endearing Weirdos.
That would be a good name for a podcast, too.
Yeah.
Well, the way we're growing, we're going to have, like, offshoots. So this will be the one at midnight, The Endearing Weirdos.
Yeah, no, we saw lots of... at the bar, we saw lots of people. We saw... guys that came in regularly that we had names for, and then you had the one-offs where guys would run in and tell a sob story about how their wife... I don't know if you remember these people, but there was like an epidemic at one point of the same guy, or maybe two, that would run into the bar all frantic. My wife is having a child, and she's all the way up in, who knows where, Toronto, and I have to get to her, and I don't have a car, my car broke down. Do you have any money? Any money for what? Well, I got to go take the fast ferry to Toronto. What? And what's sad is sometimes bar patrons would go, holy cow, we got to help this guy. And I'm like, don't give him any money. He comes in here every week. I
would hand him her. No, he would do the
same story.
He would do the daughter, and they had the accident. She's at the hospital.
Yes.
Ran out of gas. There would be the wife at the hospital. Ran out of gas.
Yeah.
I had the gas can lady, too. You could never see her car. The Nazareth student on late Saturday night who had class late Saturday night, like at 4 a.m, who ran out of gas.
Yeah.
I had the guy he had to go to work in Canandaigua and ran out of gas.
Yeah, but you know what? Those were more of like the one-offs that just happened to pop in every now and then. It wasn't like the guys that would come in every single day and go, oh, well, I have enough for one, but I wish I could have two. And it's like, well, you can't. So
Wishes are horrible.
Yeah, right.
No, you know what we should have done, goofed up on this one, both of us. Okay, say he orders a beer, right?
Yeah.
Take 2 glasses, pour half in one, half in another. Now you got 2.
I mean, they would probably say, this one's not filled enough. No, they would try. No, because people find a way to get free stuff. They would say, well, I didn't want 2. I'm drinking this one, and now this one got warm. You have to top it off. It's got to be cold. There was always some kind of, I had people follow me out to my car. Oh, I think 2 hours ago I came in and I gave you a 10. And I was like, I don't think you gave me a 10. I think you paid with like a 5. No, it was definitely a 10. And I was like, the beer was $2.50. I gave you $2.50 back.
Well, there was also Insulin Man, because I remember him well because I would be coming in to clean, or like if I was, and he would come up to me and say that he needed insulin. And first thing I'm going, well, why were you drinking?
Right.
But I'll never forget, because we used to have like a crazy street meat guy, and he chased me away because we were friends. And he chased the guy away, which is kind of fun. But we had a lot of interesting, shall we say, characters roaming around outside.
Yeah.
There was the one guy who shot blow darts at people.
That's terrifying.
He shot a blow dart at a bartender one time.
I think it's a combination of people. There's always the bunko thing. People just they want to live on the edge. They want to see what they can get away with. Yeah. They want to get something for nothing. They think it's cool to scam somebody.
Yeah.
And then you've got the other side of the coin, that these people are just so screwed up from drinking and maybe their life. Look, let's face it, life is hard. Some people just can't. They don't know any other way to deal with it than to sabotage themselves and to self-destroy themselves. Yeah. So that's what they do. And then it manifests into these weird behaviors, and they figure a bar is a good place to get away with it.
Yeah. And you know what? Something else I learned is that I never realized how much of a therapist I was for a lot of these people.
Yeah, right?
There's a lot of good people out there, and they would come to the bar, and I would just go, man, this guy's here every single day. But you know what? I knew what his wife's name was. I knew where he worked. I knew the people that he worked with that he hated. I knew everything about this, about these people. And it didn't hit me until, I don't even know, I was like 3 years into bartending. This guy, his wife called, and he goes, yeah, I'm with my therapist. And he goes, okay, I'll see you later, hon. And he hung up the phone.
Oh, my
I was
God.
like, you're not with your therapist. And he goes, that's not what you are. And I went, holy cow. He goes, you're a therapist that slings drinks. And I said, you're kind of right. And he goes, what coworker gives me the most problems? And I was like, Mary. He's like, who's my best friend at work? And I was like, Todd. And he's like, how many times do I come in here a week? I go, every single day after work. And he goes, you're my therapist. Like, wow. I said, you know what I mean? And then after that, I kind of just saw people in a different light, like, okay, these people are my friends, I mean, not the weirdos, but also, the street meat guy chased away a weirdo. It was also cool because you were providing these people a service by giving them drinks, and they gave you money. They were kind of your friends. You were kind of their therapist. And then if someone would come into the bar, kind of like, if someone would come into the bar and give you a problem, my regulars that were, like this guy who I was his therapist, whoever, would be like, I got this guy. Don't worry about him. And I would say, wait a second. I didn't even realize this guy was being a problem. Yep, you don't even have to deal with it. You're busy. I'll take care of him. And, it was kind of like a community. No matter what bar I worked at, there was like a community. Like everyone kind of
I always look back as like, who are friends of mine? Sometimes they the people I worked with for the most part. Mm-hmm. Maybe one person, maybe 2 from customers. But the other ones I had, like for that, there was one guy, I don't know if you encountered him, but what he would do, he was the gentleman guy asking for money. Because he would do, I could rob you, but I'm not going to.
Oh,
so give me $1.
That's interesting.
And then there was a guy called himself the Godfather who would, in the Big Cheese, he would change his name. If you didn't give him money, he would stick his invisible army on you.
Mm. Well, they also probably figured, okay, these people are probably going to come out altered, so let's see if I can pull this crap on them, And some people buy it because they're messed up and they're like, ooh, all right.
And they don't want conflict.
Yeah.
And you're kind of trying to take advantage of people.
But you know what, God? This is the thing when I started working. Is one of the things I would do is clean the bars. And I noticed, like a lot of other bars, they would just have the staff clean. Yeah. But it was actually the stuff you saw and you did. It was like an experience, and it was actually easy money. But I was terrified of a lot of the characters walking around.
Yeah, like locking up the bar. You'd lock up at 2:30, kick everybody out, start cleaning up and counting the money, and people would bang on the doors. I need to get in there. I left a jacket. There's not a jacket in here. I need to come in. I'm like, there's no reason for this. There's no reason to let this guy in here. And then some of the guys, that that would ask for money, they would follow me out to my car. I know you've got money. I know you've got money. And I went. I said I saw you outside. I said I actually left it inside, and I'm going to pick it up tomorrow. I don't have anything with me. And they would go, okay, well, I'm going to follow you to your car. And they would. And one time I parked facing a building like an idiot, and the guy stood behind my car and said, I'm not moving until you give me your money. I know you have money on you. And so I had a couple bucks in the what's this called? The
console.
Yeah, the console, and I crumpled them up, and I rolled my window down a little bit just to throw them far enough away to where he got out, because he was holding on to my car. He was like hugging the back of my car. It was an SUV, but he was hugging it, and I actually had to throw the money, and I was like, here's $25. It was only $3. I threw it, and he ran to go get it, and I backed up and I left. But that was 4 a.m.
That is insane. I mean, you almost feel sorry for people like that, but...
Well, when I lived in D.C., you would have guys who would try to stab you with needles, and you would also have them when they do this, if you try to get by, they try to block you to give them money. Yeah. But the one thing I started doing, and I thought people were going to start swearing at me, like if I would park down the road and walk and somebody asked me for money, I used to bring Jolly Ranchers, and I'd give them a Jolly Rancher, and I thought like you'd get like somebody, no, they would actually love it.
Wow. So because you gave them something.
Terry Jolly Ranchers. No, I made that mistake the one time where I'm like, okay, this one guy seems nice. Nobody's coming in. I'll give you a bag of chips, right? Big mistake. And then he was like, if you feed the squirrels or something, you knock it on the door. Yeah. And the other good one was like if you were cleaning, you get the guys knocking on the window going, got any money? No, because I see change on the floor. Yeah, and it's going in my pocket as a tip for cleaning.
That's what I was going to ask. So what are some of the weirdest things you found at closing time? Or
Well, I'm not going to mention one of them because it's disgusting.
I'd find pills, random pills, change, a fake gold bracelet. Mm-hmm. Nothing too crazy. Ripped up bills. I actually have a collection of ripped up bills where I don't know what people would do. I almost feel like it's like, someone's like, here's $5, and someone's like, give it to me, and it rips, and then they just throw the half on the ground because I have this collection of ripped money. It's weird. From my bartending days, and it's some of the weirdest stuff.
Well, I have some too.
I didn't find too much. When you found the most was cleaning up after the St. Patty's Day parade.
Oh, yeah.
There was always... I don't know why that was the night that there was nothing but napkins all over the ground, bouncy balls, beads, everything.
Right. New Year's, too, for the beads.
Yeah, we found so much stuff after.
Also, Mardi Gras.
Hats
but never like a wallet, never anything like of value.
Well, I got to tell you, this is a Wegmans story.
Perfect.
Okay, so we can talk about Wegmans because I don't like them. So...
Our new sponsor. And then in a couple of weeks, our new sponsor. I
was working there for a while. So when I first started there, a couple months into it, I'm cleaning the bathrooms, right? That was what I was doing, trash and stuff. So I go in the ladies' room, and I'm in there, and I'm cleaning out, I'm changing the bags and the feminine holder thing, the napkin thing. So what do I find in one of them?
A gun.
A banana.
Oh.
Now, what does that tell you?
I don't want to know.
I mean, it wasn't peeled and it wasn't eaten. It was just a full, regular banana.
Somebody who's an Andy Warhol fan?
Let's go with that.
You know what I would find in some of them, though, was like some clown drilled a hole in the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
You know what happened when we worked, too?
Really?
Some character, I kind of know who did it, too, probably. Yeah.
That's happened in a couple places at kids, like dressing rooms at stores and stuff, where kids try on clothes. That's sick shit.
God. Yeah, well, we've seen all this stuff like that.
Oh, the vandalism too.
Yeah.
Right. People were vandalizing bathrooms in bars around here for a weird portion. I feel like there was a couple of years where I'd go to use a restroom and like someone had ripped off all the sink handles, or someone would break the mirror, or
okay, I'll admit to one. Statute of limitations is probably up on this one in college. I just felt like doing it. So, you know how the elevators have that thing capacity, like whatever pounds? Yeah. I tore it down and put it on top of a toilet seat in the bathroom.
Do you know what? Okay, so this is kind of a funny story. I watched... there was a bar, I don't remember what bar we were in, And the kid came in really drunk, and he was like talking about, "Oh, I'm so strong. I'm the strongest guy here." And he didn't even have to go to the bathroom. We were washing our hands, and he was flexing in the mirror, like he had a Affliction shirt on, like typical Jersey Shore type kid. "Oh, I'm so tough." And my buddy says, "Oh, well, do you know the true test of strength?" And the kid goes, "What's that?" And he's like, "If you can pull a faucet off with your bare hands, it means you're really strong." And we just wanted to mess with this kid. Do you know that the kid actually went, "I can do that," and he ripped the thing out, and then he stood with it in his hand, and a kid behind us was like, "I'm getting security." And they went and got security and got him kicked out. And he's like, they're like, "Why did you do that?" He goes, "It's a test of strength." And they go, "No, it's not. You're drunk. Get the hell out of here, and you're going to end up paying for that." It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
One of the things I'm glad I never
That's
saw
crazy.
is we would have the cinder blocks to hold the door open. And I'm going, when we had skee ball, I'm going, this is going to go through a window. It never did. But I thought of a scene from Taxi where they're in a bar and there's Louis and there's one of those guys, you get the people like for chugging and they can open their throat and it goes down.
Yeah.
So he's like, "I'll bet you I can beat you." So they set up the thing and they're going to count to 3, right? So he goes, 1, 2. Oh, by the way, did you ever get the rat that was in the beer line? And the guy looked at he chugged, go!
So he cheated.
Yeah. But no, one thing I was thinking of, too, is like when you've worked, are there any, I'm sure you had a lot of them because I did. Did you ever have nights you would just call surreal when it was like, okay, we used to call it the full moon a lot of times. Where there was one, this is where a good friend worked with us. It was a Christmas Eve, and I went in, and it was like a continuing cast of the weirdest characters I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And we found one of them passed out at the bottom of the stairs when we were leaving. But it was like it was like surreal, though.
No, and I didn't, people on TV always say, like, "Oh, it must be a full moon." Do you know that the only times I've ever said that, I've probably been right like 75% of the time?
Yeah.
And people...
It definitely affects
right?
you.
Yeah, your regulars come in and they're acting off. People that you've never seen before come in and they're, speaking gibberish. People are just... Yeah, you're right. There's like a different vibe. And then you go, is this a joke? Am I being punked? Like, is this a full moon? And then you go out to your car and you look up and you're like, oh, that's a pretty full moon. Like, that's... people do get a little weird around
Yeah,
that.
well,
Okay,
it affects
I
me
had
all the time.
one. I'm doing the door, and this is down at a different bar I was helping out. These 3 people come in. First one coming, he's got like the cape on. He's got a cape on. It's
Like
one of
the
those
fish?
velvet
Oh,
capes, right? He comes in, and I go ID. He goes, he's a Satanist. He pulls out a card, Church of Satan, and he goes, "My Lord Satan deems we do not are held accountable by earthly identification." And I go, "Me, Lord of this bar, demands identification. You get the hell out." So he looks.
I banish you.
So he looks. He does this. Let's pretend this is a cape, right? Looks around. Come, minions. Turn around. They leave. And I'm going, okay, who's got the camera?
Yeah.
These days you would think
Full
you'd
moon?
be punked.
Was it a full moon?
I don't even know. I know this was. I'm just sitting there, but there have been times, and
Day pass?
Yeah.
a lot of the ones were actually at karaoke down at a different bar where you would get some of the biggest lunatics I've ever seen.
Yeah. Never seen them before. They'd come in, they would sing a song, and they would leave, and you'd go, what just happened?
No, you had one, I told you the story, and I'll withhold the name, but these 3 guys come in. They all sort of got buzz cuts and bowlers on. They're wearing, like, dress jackets and T-shirts. And 2 of them, one guy's got his name on it. I think it's the other 2 have eat shit with the guy's name on it. And they come in.
So it's Fred.
Yeah,
It says Fred.
Use
and,
Fred.
Then eat shit Fred.
Yeah, eat shit Fred. They come in. Now, you expect, they come in, they act like nobody else is at the bar, so they don't bother anyone. They do karaoke. They do, and the main guy, Fred, he's doing like this. He's doing like a boogie dance when people are, and they're doing karaoke, and then they go, shots, do shots, get in a cab and leave, and I'm going, and the bartender's looking at me going,
What just happened?
and I have heard within the last couple of weeks, I told a friend that story. She saw him at a different bar during karaoke.
I love this.
And the guys, that was like, if you had to have weird guys, and it was like good because it builds the mystery. Were they like working for this guy and goofy? But they bothered no one.
See, those are the best kinds. There would be guys that would come in, get a beer, go into the corner, dance. There'd be no music. I'd have an NFL game on or something. They'd be dancing, and then all of a sudden they put the pay for their beer. They put the empty glass down, tip their hat, and then leave. And I'm like, what was that?
It's a private Idaho.
What was that? Yeah, those are the best kinds. I go, you know what? I don't mind that at all. People would come in, play a jukebox song, cry, and then leave. And I'm like,
wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that one.
No? Yeah, that used to happen at
we had the one, talk about weirdos, a good friend of ours. She's alone one night. This guy comes in, and he's telling all this stuff. She called him the most miserable man in the world. And he starts all this, like, problems in life. He goes in the bathroom, and she hears him bawling and crying. She literally called me saying, you better get down here, just in case.
Well, it's another thing I learned. I learned a lot. It took me a while to realize how much I learned bartending. But the holidays are not a good time for people. So it would be, the night before, Thanksgiving, the night of Christmas, the bars are open, and I've got a full bar, and I'm like, this is great, everybody's happy. No, everybody's not happy. They either had a fight with their family or they lost a parent, and I've seen more people cry, and I have lots of terrible...
What I used to hear, one of our friends told me when I first started out, a lot of people watch on holidays because they're going to want to get away from their family. But I had the one, this was like on a Damon Runyon. So I'm working out at the bar, it's Thanksgiving Eve, and I figure, I'm fat, I'm going to eat a lot tomorrow, I might as well get a plate. So I go to Tahoe's, it's packed, it's jam-packed. And there's a woman next to me, and she's like, oh, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas. And I just think, oh, joy, a touch of human kindness, it's beautiful. Next words, are you with anyone? Figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, my life is ruined again, my faith in humanity.
Ulterior motives.
Yeah. And plus they got you, as when they know you're working there and stuff, you get a lot of people trying to take advantage of you. It's all about the money a lot of times we had problems like with our bartenders because I would always get for a couple, oh, can you help me out with this? When they get bothered and hit on and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would go, everybody gets off their shift and they don't want to stick around the bar they work at, so you go to different bars.
Right.
And then you find out, you sit down and, they have industry nights or whatever, so people...
Sin it was called.
Those are actually the most fun. I've played a few of those.
Yeah, I love it. But then it's funny because someone would go, oh, don't you work at wherever? And I go, yeah. Oh, okay, we're going to come visit you. And I went, okay, that's cool. And then they would come in, and then they would run up a tab, and then they would go, okay, have a nice night. And I was like, I'm sorry, I started you a tab. Did somebody pay when I wasn't looking? And they'd go, no. Why would you start us a tab? And I'm like, what? Like, we're all industry people. And I'm like, exactly. That was weird to me.
Yeah.
That was, like, oh, where do you work? Oh, perfect. We'll come see you. I mean, it's not like I came there and expected anything.
Okay, this is the one I hated. And these people aren't friends with me. They really weren't friends, but they knew me. I would have people come in, and I'd be told this. They would come into the bar, and they'd go and order something, and they didn't want to pay. And they go, Rob said I could have it for nothing.
Oof. Yeah.
And then but the thing was, it's like almost if you get like somebody hits on your girl or something, it gets back to you.
Yeah.
And you just go, or if like somebody who comes in and they try to do that and they make embarrassments of themselves. Like I had like one guy, I just knew him from band stuff. Wasn't really a friend. I found out he passed out and like rolled out a door or something. I'm going, he's not a friend. He shouldn't be saying that stuff.
Because they go, Rob, your friend made it. He was just a
whenever you get a
disaster.
Whenever you bring somebody in, or like somebody comes down, and because there was a creeper, one of them, and he acted like he knew me, and he would come in, and I didn't know him. But then they all look at you like, "What are you doing with this guy? Why are you bringing this guy here? Is there any bar we hate? Send it down to that."
That's actually a problem too. I would actually be terrified when someone would text me on my day off and go, "Hey, somebody here knows you," and I go, oh no. Like, why are they even bringing that up, right? And then they'd go, yeah, his name is whatever, and I go, I actually don't know anybody by that name. Like, what does he want? You know what I mean? Don't give him anything free. I don't know that guy.
Right.
Why is he bringing up my name? It's my day off. Don't text me anymore. Weird stuff like that. Oh yeah, I know him.
It would be like there's a Howie Mandel skit. It was an HBO pet stuff. She's like, how do you get free stuff? And he would go into Radio Shack. Is Radio here? Oh, you mean Radio Shack? Yes, he is a good friend of mine. Here's a stereo. But you realize, and I always say I try to balance because now, like, I'll have friends working at bars, and I'll have them, we're getting a little older, I quit drinking, and I'll get a text, like, a friend of mine works one place, and she goes, Rob, this is the most depressing thing I've ever seen. It's all these people, they're just miserable. And I've seen like a lot of human misery that goes with it. I think there's good. I think it's something where I look, if not for luck or other things, that's I could have gone down that path.
Right.
I could have been that guy that tried to kick out be like John Wayne from The Man Who Cut Liberty Valance after he's drunk.
Do you think that gives you a different perspective on alcohol?
I tried on it, and I think partly I didn't have a problem, but I did enough. Like when you get to the part when like you have a hangover and you have to go to the dentist the next day,
right?
And stuff like that. That I saw, but you would see what could happen. And I had like one recently. John Adams. I can mention him. We met up because he moved. We stopped in at a place during the day. There's a guy at the end of the bar. He was drinking like before he comes back. Right. He keeps interrupting us. And we're like, dude, no. And I'm looking at, like, people, they don't have, and for me, and I'm going on a little tangent for that. In a way, I had to take care. I came back to Rochester because my mom was sick for 3 years. And I had to help my dad take care of it. He had dementia. So, in a way, it was actually being able to go out and do stuff like that was a little therapy for me to get away from this stuff. But I see people, they're just sad. A lot of them were just sad. And after a while, like some, though, who were really crossed the line being creepy and weird, you didn't have sympathy because you're going, who would want to be with this character?
Some bars are escapes for a lot of people, and getting out of it and then getting back into it, you do see a lot of sadness. And part of you is like, oh, I kind of hate serving this guy because...
And it's like a little world, to them.
It is. It's their own. Some of them, it's their only world.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see a person in the bar every single day. And I joke, do you live here?
Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
No, actually, one of my friends, I don't know how you feel
and
about...
then they probably tip good, which is like their excuse for maybe hanging around.
Well, sometimes I had issues with regulars, and I said that. Well, I started to dislike a lot of regulars because they act like they own the place.
Right.
They don't. And I would, plus a certain bartender of mine would go downstairs ostensibly to get stuff. The phone would ring. It would be, hey, Rob, can you get so-and-so out of here?
Yeah.
To make you look like the bad guy. It's a funny point. I wonder how you feel about this, because it's actually a friend of mine who played. He said that one of the things that got him, like for his band, one band is he would look, and at every gig you get some of the same people, and instead of being like, wow, they're coming to see us, it's like, don't you have a life or something?
Right.
Why are you coming around? The scene I had a joke and go, especially what you play, man.
Yeah, I mean, I can. We have some fans that are always around. I mean, some people just go out a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, to some people, I think getting around to music and artists and whatever, it gives them a sense of belonging. It's a social thing. It becomes their little community. And then we feed on it because we need fans, obviously. And then, next thing you know, you're going to their, you're getting invited to their, come on over sometime. And,
See, that's the problem I have, though, where they're not. I realize I call it false intimacy. That's been used for bars a lot.
Yeah.
And they're not my friends. They aren't. Like, I'm working, and I always had that thing on my shoulder about they're trying to take advantage of me because I work here.
Right.
I know a lot of bands and everything.
I've tried to always stay away from that. Like when I worked downtown at Chase, I used to go to the East End a lot. And I used to go to a couple of those bars down there. And I got to know one of the bartenders quite well. He actually owned the place, I think, or became an owner. And I'd see him out at different things. Hey, man, how's it going? Oh, pretty good. And, I never wanted any favors or anything. But the way I looked at it, I always figured it's like a mechanic or something. If you know you're a good mechanic, I don't care if you're going to charge me. I just want to know you're not going to screw me on the work.
Yeah.
So when you go to a bar and you know the bartender, they make sure that you're not sitting there for 10 minutes before stuff like that. Just little things. To me, that's knowing your bartender.
Yeah.
Instead of, oh, hey, man, I know that guy. He's my friend.
And there were the ones that were like a good friend of mine who unfortunately passed away, but he would treat you like you're the most important person in the room. And I remember one day I stop in just to get takeout, and he's like, you're not leaving. It's your birthday. Like, or get the cold tequila shots. So I have to go work. I have to go work afterwards, and I go in. That was the night, and I was fine to drive, even though our dear bartender made something called birthday cake drinks. But it was the weirdest night of the world. I'm driving home. Am I seeing this? There are a bunch of deer on the expressway. I literally hit the gas, go between them, spin around, and go, what was it, Santa taking a whiz down by the bridge or something? But it's a lot of it, like, and I saw, that's the thing I guess that got me, was I started seeing the same people, and it didn't seem like they were happy. And what would happen was if something good happened to them, they wouldn't come to the bar anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of history, too. Like, bars have always been sort of low-life places and gangster places. And then all of a sudden it got hipper, and it got to be a young person thing, and then it got to be like a crazy exotic people thing. I don't know.
Well, I do think partly, too, that, sometimes it's funny, if it happened to either of you, where, like, we're used to sort of being maids, quote unquote, because we worked. Like,
yeah.
But you go in some place and it's like a big regular place. All the eyes look like they're pinned on you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't belong in these parts. And there was one place, I hated this place, and it closed, so... But I went in, it's a friend of mine and I, we go in, we're sitting there, there's no one. There's like two people. The bartender ignores us. Just ignores us talking to... And I'm like, let's get out of here. And, that's not a good way to do it.
Working in the industry, if I sit down and a bartender's walking back and forth by me for 15 minutes and doesn't even acknowledge me, I get if you have like a ton of tickets. But if you don't even make eye contact or throw a coaster down and be like, I'll be right with you.
Yeah, right.
I can't patronize your place. I'm sorry. I actually had a bartender from across the bar notice that the guy was just ignoring me, and she came over. She's like, "Hey, hon, has he done anything to done anything to talk to you at all?" And I went, "No." She goes, "You've been here for 11 minutes." And I was like, "Oh, you've been counting." She's like, "Yeah." And I said, "Do you not like him or something? Why are you counting?" And she goes, "I had to walk over here." She's like, "Please don't leave. I'll bring you whatever you want. Here's a menu. I'll be right back." And then out of the blue, he saw that I had a drink. He's like, "Oh, you've been helped?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, I don't know how she got me to stay. She was a lovely bartender. I would patronize that place, but yeah, just waiting like that.
Acknowledging is a big part of it. Yeah. Just say hi. I'll be
with
you.
You know what I liked a lot? Like, if people go, "Look, I'll be right with you." I'm saying, duh, it's busy. Like on a Halloween when it was insane. I just thought of a random story too. Plug. I'm sitting there, waiting, like doing the bar backing, but I'm sitting down. There's a guy talking to a girl, and she's going on. She needs to go to the bathroom. He turns and looks at me and goes, "I wish she would shut up. I just want to get laid." That's why I felt like telling her, get away. Because that's the other thing we would have to do. You would get like these creepy characters. You'd have to tell people, stay in the bar. You get them banging on the glass. And one thing, because I remember that a lot. Like, you get the guys like doing this, and I had they had to do that for me, because the guy was talking to me, and he goes, "I think I love you. You want to go home to my place, take our shirts off, and play ping pong?" And the bartender goes... and all of a sudden, the bartender became my wife. And I'm like, she's like, "Dear honey, why don't you stay in here?"
I don't even like that visual.
No, you don't want that visual. That's why we're not have the visuals on that one. But I also think one thing I'll condemn. I think we did a really good job, like with the regular weirdos around when we were sort of enforcing and getting rid of them. And some bars didn't. I mean, I saw incidents where characters. I would have just said, "Look, you're not welcome here anymore doing this stuff."
Yeah.
And the bad for business.
Bartenders do, in general, a great job of protecting. They will wait until a guy goes to the bathroom and be like, "Are you okay here? Do you need anything?"
Yeah.
"No, I'm fine." That kind of thing. Like, I've seen people. I've seen bartenders pay special attention to like people on dates and whatnot. That's awesome.
I did something one time when I was in Florida. I was out there playing, and it was a night off, and I went to this. I don't know if I went to that bar or whatever. I went out someplace. And there was some girl there. I mean, a nice-looking girl. She was trashed. And I don't know, I was sitting near her or something, and I saw the guys, I could see the guys hovering and whatever. And I said, somehow I got enough conversation out of her. I figured out, I said, "Look, I mean, I'm probably because she was hammered, but I said, "Look, where do you live? I'm going to just get you out of here."
Yeah.
And
Now they're
I
saying
took her
those
home. I just took her home, walked her to the door, and left. I mean, I wasn't gonna go into God knows what I'd wake up with, but
and now this has been loads of fun,
arrested.
and you got to come back and have a part 2, I think, or just talk about. You can talk about a lot of stuff. But as we reach closing time, what would you say? What would you sum up your experience or say to people who think about getting into this? And I would say, for me, it was a little magical. No, but you have to know when to get out too, and you have to know. Don't get dragged into it. And I have a lot of great memories, some good friends. But the way we're going to leave too. Speaking of segue, maybe on our other editions, because we have our big show, but we also still have little ones flittering around. You may hear some music, but we're going to play. I thought it was too fitting. Closing Time by Mr. Leonard Cohen.
All right.
It's perfect. And thanks a lot, Luke. And I hope you get those rainbow cookies.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.
Very interesting.